Good morning, welcome to the Ghost Monotype run on the Retrobrown channel. Today I've got very little to work with, really. I mean, it's the Ghost Monotype runs in early generations. There are not many Pokemon lines to really work with doing these. But we are going to make this work, and as I said in a few of the comments leading up to this month, considering we've only got one new addition to the Ghost type in this generation, just doing a Johto Ghost Mon with just Johto Ghost Mons would be kind of pointless. That'd just be a solo run of Misdreavus. So we are going to add in the Kanto Ghost line just to do this as well. But unlike the Kanto Ghost run where I did the Ghastly and the Haunter, we are going to only use one of each line to do this with. And considering we've got very little to work with only 2 Pokemon, and we've got level caps to put into consideration, is it going to be difficult? So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Warshadow is going to be our Misdreavus for today. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel, and we'll see how we do. Now, I've never used a Misdreavus before. Because it is locked in the post-game of Johto up in Mount Silver, very little chances to ever use it, and you literally only get it for one battle. So not many people have ever really used this in a playthrough. And considering that, I just wanted it as the starter Pokemon, because as long as we start off at the night time in Johto, we can actually get a Ghastly pretty early on, even before the very first gym. And that's going to be key, because as I've found out with quite a lot of these Monotype runs so far, it's actually, Falkner actually is kind of difficult when you have to adhere to level cap. There's only a certain amount of mandatory fights or optional fights you can do before you beat Falkner, so you've really got to take PP management into account. And I never thought that Falkner would actually be kind of difficult, but yeah, it's actually a situation where he is somewhat quite difficult to take on with some types. Anyway, now that we've gone to Mr. Pokemon's house, we're going to remove the berry because I actually remembered it this time. And we can take on the rival for the first time. And I've given him the choice of Chikorita for this run. Now, in this very first fight, of course, he only has physical type moves, which means, to be fair, he actually can't even hit us whatsoever. So using Growl was kind of pointless. And the only other move that we get is Psywave. Now, I can't be bothered explaining Psywave, so I will put it down in the description of what Psywave does. But, in my opinion, it's one of the worst Psychic type attacks in history. It really is very, very bad. So once we've beaten the rival, because he couldn't even hit us anyway, we will name him for today, and that is going to be Bitter Zombie. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel, and I hope you enjoy being the rival for this Ghost type mono run. Considering the name, I honestly thought this would be very well suited to be the rival for this one. So yeah. Anyway, once we've named the rival, we can head all over to Violet City, and we're going to go and pick up our second Pokemon. And yeah, if you go into the Sprout Tower at night time, just run around a little bit, you can find a Ghastly. And that's exactly what we need, because Ghost types really got a big improvement in Gen 2, in my opinion. Especially with the movesets. I mean, exactly the movesets. The movesets that you get in Gen 2 are far better than Gen 1, where the only Ghost type moves that you really have to worry about, or even use, it's going to be Nightshade or Lick. And they are. Nightshade's decent, but Lick is such a bad move. But in Gen 2, you get some incredible moves, which, if you've watched my channel very, very much, yeah, you're going to see why the Ghost type moves are very, very good. John Jones, you are going to be our Ghastly for this run. Let's head into the gym and see how we do. Now, the first challenge we've got to contend with is the fact that Birdkeeper Abe has got a Spearow with Peck. And now Peck can actually hit Ghost type Pokemon because it's a flying type move. And, yeah, we get absolutely trashed without even dealing any damage. Now, the big problem with this is, being Ghost type Pokemon, we don't have the greatest defenses to work with. Physical defense by that. And Peck is a physical type move. But what we do get is some utility moves to work with. Ghastly starts off with Hypnosis, meaning we can put the Spearow to sleep. And because it doesn't have any moves that can actually hit the Spearow, because it's a normal and flying type, Ghost type moves do not hit normal types, we then have to switch into Misdreavus to then use Psywave. And considering Psywave is not very reliable, Falkner's going to be interesting. So yeah, let's see how we do against him. Now, my strategy here was purely get the Pokemon to sleep and then switch into Misdreavus. Because Ghastly at this point has no moves that can actually hit any of the flying normal types. So we're going to go for the Psywaves once we've got them to sleep. And Warshadow is literally the only Pokemon we can deal damage out with. One of the things we don't want to happen, of course, is to get hit by Mudslaps and our accuracy falls, and Psywave doesn't have 100% accuracy anyway. So as soon as we can get the Pokemon to sleep, we're in a decent shot, but we've taken a hell of a lot of damage from this Pidgey, so a lot of RNG will play into getting a win out of this fight. And as soon as that Pidgeotto comes out, we are dealing very little damage with Psywave there. John Johns has got nothing to hit this Pidgeotto. So unless we can put it into struggle range with Spite, which reduces the move's PP that was last used, we're going to have to take an L. So what can we do differently? Not really too much, but we will push both Pokemon up to the level cap at level 9. The only thing I can do differently really is if I push them right up to where they might level up after the Pidgey. But this time around we get very good luck where Ghastly gets the Pokemon to sleep straight away. We are playing on set mode, so I can't switch Pokemon as they're switching Pokemon. Have to do it and have to take an attack. And from there, once we've got the Pidgeotto to sleep, we will just Psywave until we get a victory. There we go, level cap has gone up to level 16, and it is possible to beat Falkner with only Ghost-type Pokemon. But if we'd only started off with Ghastly, definitely no chance of that doing it at the level cap. Anyway, with one gym badge in tow, we can then progress through Union Cave to the Slowpoke Well, and we still only got Psywave to properly deal out damage with, so there's a lot of normal types in the early game. Thankfully, there's also quite a few poison types, but Psywave is also technically not super effective against normal types. Yeah, weird isn't it? Psychic type move that is not super effective against poisons. That's because Psywave deals out not typeless damage. It's like Future Sight, it deals out typeless damage in this generation. I don't know in any other generation if Psywave does deal out any other types of damage, like if it does actually in a later generation deal out psychic damage, but in this generation it deals out typeless damage. So, at the end of the Slowpoke Well, we have of course the Team Rocket grunts to deal with, and this one's got a level 14 Coffin. Good thing we did get Confuse Ray quite early on, because that means we can actually deal out some cheese with some confusion damage, and with that we actually managed to get through the fight without taking any damage. We're at level 14, but I feel like we might need to still be at the level cap before we go against Bugsy. Thankfully he's got a few trainers in his gym, and we can go against any optional trainers that we missed, and hopefully that'll put us towards around about level 16 by the time we fight Bugsy. And we don't really have to worry too much about his gym trainers anyway. Like, even though Psywave is a really bad move, it's still holding up and getting us through these fights. One move that I really want to get is going to be the move Curse. Now, Mischievous doesn't actually learn this move, but Ghastly does, which means that it's going to be a bit of a dicey move to use depending on which fight we're going into. Curse will reduce the opponent's HP by a quarter every turn, or at least a quarter of its max HP. So it's going to be a very valuable move moving on. For now, let's see how we do against Bugsy. It's 2 against 3, but I feel like we still have the advantage. So Lick will actually hit both of his Pokemon here because they are Metapod is Bug Mono. So we can actually hit this Pokemon with Lick. Doesn't do all too much damage, and we do have the chance to paralyze it, but we can take it down without taking any damage. The next problem though is going to be the Kakuna. Now we don't want to be poisoned in this fight. We want to keep as much HP as possible while going into that final Cypher. Even though Cypher's only got one move that can really hit us, it's an accumulation move, so if we get hit too many times by the Cypher, we may get swept quite comfortably. So yeah, this is it. Let's see how we do against Cypher. Now I am going to switch straight back into our Ghastly because we want to get it straight away to sleep, and I want to use Spite. Yes, we are going to cheese it out by making sure that Fury Cutter cannot be used whatsoever. As I said earlier, Spite will reduce the PP of a move that the opponent used last, and if we use Spite after putting him to sleep, we can just get rid of all of his Fury Cutter PP. That means this Cypher has literally got nothing to work with to even hit us, because all of its other types are normal types, and we get a very easy win here. And now we can finally learn the move Curse. This is going to be such a crucial move to this run. Now the level cap goes up to level 20. We've also picked up Fury Cutter, which neither of our Pokemon can learn, so it will get sold. We will head into the Azalea Town rival fight, and I'm so glad we managed to get Curse before this fight, because it's going to really help us out against the Bayleaf. Starting off against Bitter Zombie, we're going to go Ghastly v Ghastly, and we straight away go for Curse as he switches into Bayleaf, and that is the perfect scenario. As long as we can get it to sleep, we're in good money there, but we don't manage to get the Hypnosis off because it's only got 55% accuracy. That's all that matters though, because the Bayleaf is the worst Pokemon to go against on this team. And hands down, I actually think the Bayleaf is the hardest Pokemon to go against for the Azalea Town rival fight. It's got such good defenses, it's got Razor Leaf which has the chance to crit. So yeah, it's a very threatening Pokemon to go against at this point in the game. Once we've taken it down though, none of his other Pokemon can really match up to us, and we get a first time win, which I was not expecting. I thought we'd... Usually this fight takes me about 2 or 3 tries because it is just one of those fights that always trips you up. That moves us into Goldenrod City, and we are going to go gambling because even though we don't get many TM moves to work with, there's some fantastic ones we actually get from the game corner, and of course that is going to be the funded TMs. Now, Electro-type I think is probably one of the best types in this in Gen 2. Genuinely think it might be the best type in Gen 2, apart from Fire-type, that might be even just that better. But getting funded this early on is incredible because both these Pokemon have got decent special attacking stats. Like Ghastly's is pretty damn high for a base stage evolution Pokemon. That's going to get even better when it evolves into Haunter, which will happen pretty soon after this gym, really. At level 17, we're at decent levels, but we're going against the normal type gym. You tell me how this one's going to go. So, with 2 Ghost Pokemon in tow, we cannot be hit by the Clefairy's double slaps. So as soon as we get to sleep, we will thunder it down, and we need to keep Ghastly crucially for this fight. The main thing is getting that Miltank to sleep straight away, and again, we're going to use Spike to get rid of Rollout PP. After this, Miltank has got no moves to actually take down any of our Pokemon. So once we've got rid of all of its PP, we're in the money. We use Spike one last time, it wastes its last Rollout, and then it tries to use Attract on us, which is fine because there is nothing else that this Miltank can do to take us out with Rollout. It's got no PP left to work with. So what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we can get rid of... We're going to actually use Spike to make sure it can't use Milk Drink either. Because Milk Drink will just prolong this fight, and it means for a fact that if we try and use too many Thunders, we will have nothing to work with when it gets to Struggle range. And I'm pretty sure in this generation, Struggle is types as normal instead of being typeless. I think. I'd have to double check that one. Let me know down in the comments. Because I've never actually had to use Struggle for a while in this generation. We beat Whitney first time with this Ghost Mono team, and we were actually quite underleveled for that fight. Now the level cap goes up to level 25, we pick up the move Attract, which, I don't know, we could see some use of. It's a decent move, and we go and slap Psychic Greg into the ground. Now this guy, I don't know why this one is just annoying, but I go into this fight on some runs and he just walls me with Hypnosis Dream Eater, and it gets very annoying. And I've developed over the past couple of years doing Gen 2 runs a massive hatred towards Psychic Greg. So once we beat him, we can progress into Equity City, and we will show Morty why he needed to use the Johto Ghost type Pokemon instead of just using Kanto and the entire evolution line. But what we need to do first, we need to go and get the Surf HM. Reason why we want this is because we need to get to the next gym after this one. Once you've got the Surf HM, you can go over to Cyanwood City, which is the Fighting type gym. And it's going to be more worth our time to go against the Fighting type gym first instead of the Steel type gym. So, all of these Kimono girls, they've got that lore within the game where they all use evolutions. There's that lore sort of... What's the word for it? Rumour that like the evolutions are linked to the legendary beasts. I don't know if that's actually confirmed or not by Game Freak, but it's still a cool like piece of lore that everyone thought about back in the day. Once we've got the Surf HM, of course, we can go into Morty's gym, and this is Ghost v Ghost, but we've got the move Thunder, which pretty much one-shots everything. Like, we're really showing why Misdreavus should have been in this gym, should have been available earlier in the game, because it just makes no sense that Misdreavus is locked in Mount Silver. They really, really did bad placement of Johto Pokemon in this game, and especially the actual good ones that you want to use. I mean, I'm not saying that you want to use Misdreavus, but only getting it for the red fight, it just made no one want this Pokemon. And until Miss Magius and, of course, Fluttermane came out in Gen 9, Miss Magius coming out in Gen 4, I don't think I know many people that even knew that Misdreavers even existed until Gen 4. So, what now that it's the Ghost v Ghost gym leader, we're going to have to think about our strategy for this, because yes, we could outspeed, but Ghastly will not outspeed this, like even one of the gym trainer Haunters. We've got to think about something different. And we are going to keep going back to the Pokemon Center, because I again forgot to bring some healing items with me. It's a good thing that I'm not going for the best time on these runs. I'm doing this for the fun, to see if you can actually do it with these Mono-type Pokemon. Thankfully, we actually can outspeed this Ghastly. It's probably going to be... Oh, wow, we get Nightshade. That's a good move. I'm probably not starting to see much use of Spite anymore, because the accumulation moves are gone. Thunder is our best output of damage. And Nightshade's just consistent damage as well, so it's going to be worth keeping that. Oh, we lost that Pokemon. That brings us into our Misdreavers to get the final hit. And now we can actually go against Morty. It's a good thing that both these Pokemon can learn Thunder via TM, because there's not really all too much else to work with until later levels with these Pokemon. Oh my god, I keep forgetting this gym puzzle and messing it up. I hate this gym. I hate this gym puzzle. I hate the gym leader. We're going to show Morty why we're the better Ghost Mono gym leader. So, 2 Pokemon against 4. As long as we can outspeed the first Ghastly, it's going to be an easy win with Thunder. And I'd rather get these Pokemon to sleep first than actually try and just go for the Thunder, because Thunder doesn't have the greatest accuracy. I mean, neither does Hypnosis, but at least with... Oh wow, we took a lot of damage to Shadow Ball there. Oh god, we've lost Spore Shadow. That brings into... Oh, wow. Okay, maybe we need to beat the level cap to make this viable, because that was not good. So we'll go against the rival, get a few more levels up. And this is an optional rival fight in Burnt Tower. And it's Ghost v Ghost to start off with again. He's going to go straight for Curse. We switch to make sure that we can get rid of the Curse damage. And that brings into Zubat, which gets taken down by Thunder. Thunder's decent damage against the Magnemite, but we're going to have to think of something different for the Magnemites coming up, because with it getting the Steel type in this generation, it's a pretty damn good Pokemon. Like, I always skipped on it in Gen 2 just because I didn't really like it in Gen 1. Like, when Pikachu's there, Jolteon's there, most people really overstep getting a Magnemite, in my opinion. But, as I proved in my solo run earlier on this year, Magneton's actually a fantastic solo run Pokemon. Magnemite, nowhere near as much. So now we're at the level cap. Ghastly will evolve into Haunter, and that speed boost we're going to get from the evolution is so critical. So let's go into this. We're going to start off at level 25 going into this at the level cap. We're just going to Thunder as much as possible until War Shadow falls. As long as we can deal out some decent damage, which unfortunately we didn't there. But we actually outspeed this Gengar here. And I have no idea how that works, but his Gengar must have pretty low speed IVs. Once we've taken out the Gengar though, this is an easy fight. We can take him down with Thunder and Nightshade, and we get the 4th badge. We've proven we're the best Ghost-type Pokemon trainer in this region, and we can progress on to start off the Secret Potion side quest, pick up a rare candy of course, and then head into Signwood City once we've got a Surf Pokemon. Now, it's a good thing you can get the good rod in Olivine City, because there's a lot of water around to fish up a water-type Pokemon. And if you're going to pick up a HM Slave, I'd pick up Krabby. Can learn Strength, Cut, Surf, and Whirlpool. So, at least 4 of the annoying ones to use you can get from just using a Krabby. That brings us into Signwood Gym, and of course that means the first 2 Dojo Brothers. Now, the Hitmonlee cannot hit us whatsoever, because fighting type moves cannot hit Ghost types. That's perfect, because we want an easier fight. The second guy, though, he has Hitmonchan, who has the Elemental Punches. Now, thankfully, Hitmonchan doesn't have the greatest special attack. As soon as we can get it to sleep, we'll Nightshade it down into the ground, or use Thunder and get the Paralysis, but John John's falls there, leading it all up to War Shadow, who we have taught Shadow Ball to. We might as well have a Dark-type move or Ghost-type move to work with. I think it's a Ghost-type move, Shadow Ball, so at least we got a decent stab damage move. And most of the trainers here are not going to be a problem for us whatsoever. As I said, fighting types cannot hit ghost type moves, like ghost type Pokemon. So we've got a very easy ride, but this Machoke does have Rock Slide and we don't have great defenses. Good thing though, Misdreavus can also pick the move Psybeam. And that's perfect because with it being the fighting gym, we've got another super effective move to deal with the rest of his gym and the gym leader himself. I really need to go back into these runs, and at least the future runs coming up, and make sure I pick up potions or revives. Because going back to the Pokemon Center after every fight, making sure I can go into each gym fight with a full HP, it's kind of annoying. Because a lot of these moves don't have like large PP pools either, it doesn't really help us out. Anyway, let's see how we do against Chuck. Now the Primeape we do not need to worry about whatsoever. It's not got any moves that can hit us, so as soon as we get to sleep, we'll Nightshade it into the ground. The big problem is going to be that Poliwrath because it does have the move Surf. And if we get hit by a Surf, we're taking a lot of damage, as you can see there. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to sack our Haunter by using Curse, meaning we can deal out damage quite consistently for the rest of this fight. He whiffs it by using a Hypnosis, and then the Curse damage takes him down. That's why I love using Curse in this generation. It's annoying that only one Pokemon line really gets it, or at least the Ghost type version of Curse. You can learn Curse with pretty much any Pokemon, but when you're not a Ghost type Pokemon, it changes how it works. So Curse works on any Pokemon that is not a Ghost type by increasing attack and defense but lowering speed. That's on literally any Pokemon that is not a Ghost type Pokemon. It's weird, isn't it? But yeah. Anyway, with the 5th badge in tow, we can head back over to Olivine City, and I don't know whether it's worth giving Jasmine a try right now. Because we don't have any super effective moves against a Magnemite, it might be a very difficult fight. And Steel can hit us. Steel can hit Ghost type Pokemon, so an Iron Tail will be a massive problem to deal with when we don't have great defenses to begin with. Yeah. This might be a difficult fight, so it might be worth our time going to Price instead. Yeah. Anyway, once we've got back to Olivine, we need to go back up the Lighthouse to give Ampharos the secret potion. And it's just kind of annoying, but in a way, the Lighthouse is also kind of the gym challenge for Jasmine. There's a lot of trainers there, none of them use Steel types, but at least there's quite a lot of gym trainers you can go against. Because when you go into Jasmine's gym, of course, it's a straight line, just like it is in Viridian City's gym in this generation, where you don't have to go against any trainers. The gym trial is pretty much the Lighthouse. Once we've healed up multiple times because I'm mashing A here. Why do I keep doing this? I need to stop mashing A when I'm doing these runs. Let's see how we do against Jasmine anyway. So the big problem with this is actually going to be the Magnemites, I would say. If we can get them to sleep early, we're fine, but you can just see it there. We got paralyzed and then we get hit by big Thunderbolts which nearly one-shot our Haunter. So yeah, unless we get them to sleep straight away, we're in a real bad problem here. Now Misdreavus doesn't get Hypnosis. Shadow Ball does barely any damage. We need to get to that Steelix with just our Haunter only. So let's try this again. We are at level 29, we are still under the level cap. This time I decided to start off with Misdreavus. If I can take out at least one of the Magnemites with Misdreavus, that puts us in a decent position, but we get taken down. But this range, one Nightshade can take it down. Second Magnemite comes out, and this time we get lucky and Hypnosis hits first time. Level 29, it will take 3 Nightshades to take down that Magnemite, and then comes the big problem, which is the Steelix. We get it to sleep, we curse, because pretty much one Iron Tail will just one-shot us from this range. We burn the Hyper Potion, and we are pretty much hoping that Curse does its deal. And we get the win, but this took quite a lot of tries to get the RNG right, because Hypnosis has got such bad accuracy, we just didn't have the greatest of luck. Now with 6 gym badges in tow, we can finally head off to Mahogany Town and start the dreaded Rocket side quest. So, the major thing I like about this side quest, I know I hate on it quite a lot, I actually enjoy the Red Gyarados bit. I know it's right at the start, but when this is a lot of people's first time ever seeing a shiny Pokemon, especially when the games first came out in 1999, Yeah, this was a really special moment that actually made this Rocket side quest a bit worth it. Once we've beaten the Red Gyarados though, we will talk to Lance and head back to Mahogany Town. We want to make sure that we can just get through this as quick as possible, but usually before going back to Mahogany Town I go to the north of the Lake of Rage, so just so I can pick up the items there, because there is a rare candy, there's TMs, there's full restores. It's worth your time going up there first. At the end of the Rocket side quest in Mahogany Town, we have the Rocket executives to deal with. Now, we are actually still under the level cap by quite a bit. With beating Jasmine, I pushed the level cap up to level 35 because her lead Pokemon is better than the 7th gym leader. Well, a race Pokemon, I mean. So once we've beaten Jasmine, I'm happy to put that level cap up to level 35 and make the rest of this bit a little bit easier for myself. Yeah, she's out of gyms 5, 6, and 7. Gym 6 has got the toughest fight, because Price, he's an absolute joke. For a 7th gym leader, he is an absolute joke. So let's see how we do, and I'll show you why he's a joke. We've got Thunder on our moveset. 2 of his Pokemon are weak to electric-type moves, so as soon as we can hit them with Thunder, ooh, we get down to 6 HP. Nightshade will take him out, and then we're just going to go for Curse, because John Johns has got barely any HP to work with, and we're just going to cheese it for the rest of this fight. Curse then just starts dealing damage, chipping away. We've got Confusion up as well. We are just tearing through this pile of swine. Even we can get special defense drops with Shadow Ball. We get an easy win. That was a first time win, and the only reason why I took so much damage was because I wasn't really paying attention to this one. I really do not rate the Price fight whatsoever. It's really just not hard. And I've proven that with so many Pokemon. It's just not very hard. Anyway, that means we now need to finish off the Rocket side quest, and that brings us to the top of the radio tower with the executive that has a full team of Coughing and then 1 Wheezing. Who thought this was a good idea? War Shadow's just going to sweep through this, Psybeam the entire way through. And thank God that we can just sweep through with Psybeam, because it's going to save us so much time. We could have learnt the move Pain Split there, but considering we've only got 2 Pokemon to work with, and I don't really feel like my moveset is really set up to utilise Pain Split, we're just going to skip that one for now. Maybe I'll use it on a different run. That brings us to the Underground with the rival fight against Bitter Zombie. His Golbat comes out first and gets taken down straight away to a Thunder. But I'm starting to see a little thing we need to keep conscious of. We're already at level 36 with both Pokemon. The level cap's level 40, and then the level cap after that for the league is 42. There's quite a lot of mandatory fights we still need to go against, and I'm not too sure we can keep our levels under the level caps so far. So yeah, we've got a bit of a challenge on our hands that I was not expecting at this point in the game. Either way, the rival fight down here, not too much of a problem whatsoever. Shadow Ball is a decent move to take down this Meganium if you can get the special defense drops as well. But, oh wow, we actually lost. Okay, this one isn't an easy fight. Okay. So, oh my god, we're really getting trashed on by this Golbat here. We got confused, we got hit by Bite. Oh, we're starting to get some momentum now. We've got the Hypnosis off first turn, which is perfect. And then Thunder takes down the Sneasel. That then brings in a Magnemite, and yay, we get another first turn Hypnosis. That's perfect. It's Haunter v Haunter now, and we don't get the first turn Hypnosis. Bringing us back into War Shadow, and it's War Shadow v Meganium again. Hopefully we don't get poisoned this time around, because oh wow, we get the Paralysis and Confusion off. That's fantastic. But we are taking big damage from Razor Leaf, but thank God Paralysis worked there. We do take a win here, but we are level 37, so there's still quite a lot of mandatory fights to deal with. We're at the Rocket Executive now, and we are at level 38. I'm really getting quite concerned about our levels right now. So, we can take down majority of his Pokemon pretty easily. If his Houndoom and his Houndour had Bite, or at least used Bite, we would have pretty much a problem here. But level 39, we get an incredible move for Haunter. We get Dream Eater. So the Hypnosis Dream Eater combo, psychic damage, is just going to really help us out for the rest of this run. Now, you're probably thinking as well, well, Haunter has one more evolution, why are you not evolving it into Gengar? because I've got no way to trade it. Yeah, because I do this on an emulator. I have not figured out how to do in-game trades or trades between like emulator saves. I don't really plan to. We are going to have to stick with Haunter, but don't skip on Haunter. It's actually a great Pokemon anyway. Now we've got out to Blackthorn City with our 2 Pokemon. We'll see how we do against the final gym leader. And again, it's 2 versus 4. As long as we can get their Pokemon to sleep pretty much first turn and Dream Eater to take them down, there's nothing that can really take down this Haunter, because it will constantly recover its HP. Dream Eater does so much damage. We managed to get through all 3 Dragonairs without taking a single point of damage. Because these Pokemon are also really fast, we are great Pokemon to be taking them on. We get the Kingdra to sleep after taking some surf damage, but at this point she's going to use a Hyper Potion. We're pretty much back up at full HP here, so as soon as we can get the Kingdra back to sleep, we can use Thunder or Dream Eater to take it down. We just swept Claire with just a Haunter at the level cap. Yes, it leveled up mid-fight, but level 40 and level 41, we've still got mandatory fights to go before Will in the Elite Four. So this is going to be difficult. And of course, one of the mandatory fights we need to deal with is going to be our rival for the final time, Bitter Zombie at Victory Road. Let's see how we do here. So we've got into this at level 41. We've managed to keep the level caps down a bit by switch training, and that means that both Pokemon will get experience, but they also will get them a lot slower. We take down the first couple of Pokemon pretty comfortably, and then Magneton comes out and takes us out. John's already level 42 here, so if we level up, which we probably are at this rate because of the amount of experience still left, we might have to go into the very first Elite Four member with only 1 Pokemon at level 42. And I don't want that. I really don't want that, because I need both of these Pokemon to make this viable. I actually take an optional loss here against the rival. I need to switch train a bit here to make this doable. So if I can take out the first couple of Pokemon, get Jones as close to level 43 as possible, we should be fine. So we need to take down that Sneasel pretty comfortably, and at this point I switch into Misdreavus to try and gain a lot less experience. Warshadow is definitely the better Pokemon to be taking out the majority of his team with, but switch training means that we don't gain as much. We managed to get the Magneton to sleep, and we need to use Dream Eater to get our HP back. Annoyingly, we are paralysed, and that is not a good situation to be in this fight. So we're going to switch back into Misdreavus. Of course, you can just finish it off with a couple of Shadow Balls. Thankfully, it stayed asleep for quite a long time, but Shadow Ball is going to be perfect for the next couple of Pokemon coming up. Meganium is going to be a problem though. We need to Confuse Rate, and from there Shadow Ball try and get the special defense drops, because that'll definitely help out if we need to switch into Haunter. Meganium does manage to take itself out, but we actually level up with Misdreavus. That's not good. So yeah, we are going to have to go into Will with just our Haunter. Experience management in monotype runs like this, when you've got very little Pokemon to work with, it's kind of difficult. But with 1 Pokemon to work with, let's see how we do against Will. And out of the 2 Pokemon, I'm actually really glad that it's only Haunter that is our Pokemon going into this. With Thunder, with Hypnosis, Dream Eater, and even Curse, we can make it through this fight, but it is difficult. We do level up to level 43, so we are now above the level cap, but we started off at level 42, so that's the only legal Pokemon we had to start off this fight with. The Executor is a problem, because it does have Psychic, and it's a bulky Pokemon. We had to rely on Curse to take it down. So as long as Slowbro gets to sleep, Thunder should be maybe 1 or 2 shots to take it down, and that brings us into the final Xatu, and it's here or nothing. We have to take it down with Thunder. Georgians goes up to level 44, which thankfully is the level cap of Koga, so we can now legally use both Pokemon here. It's a good thing that we don't level up all too much during the Elite Four. It was just Will that was really a problem. Warshadow is actually really well primed to take down Koga's team. Because, oh man, we got poisoned, we can confuse the Fortress, hopefully like do some chip damage. From there we will switch into Johns, and being Ghost-type Pokemon, we cannot be hit by Explosion or Self-Destruct. Perfect, because then we can put it to sleep, curse damage will do its thing, and we can just use Dream Eater to get some HP back. So yeah, Koga is an incredibly easy fight for these two Ghost Pokemon. The Muk that comes out is pretty slow, and it's also weak to Dream Eater. We get all of our HP back to work with, which I'm so happy about. And we bring it into the final Crobat. Now, Crobat is an incredibly quick Pokemon. I try in vain to get Thunder off, but Johns will fall to the Crobat unless we can get it to sleep. We anticipated, of course, that he was going to use full heals, and when we get it back to sleep straight away, finally, we can just take it down. We use Curse because it used Double Team, and Curse will hit it, and Curse damage takes it down. Yes, Curse is just such a good move in this generation. That brings us into Bruno, and with it being the fighting type, I don't think I've got all too much to worry about, but it's also very crucial that I use Misdreavus for the very first Pokemon here, Hitmontop. Reason for that, Hitmontop has got the move Dig, which is super effective against Haunter with it being a Ghost Poison type. We want to use War Shadow because it has Psybeam, super effective against fighting types. Oh, why did I... Oh, Foresight. I forgot about that little trick. So if you don't know what the move Foresight does, why are we getting hit by fighting type moves? Hitmonchan didn't have Foresight. Foresight, it basically means that any normal type of fighting type moves can hit ghost types after using it. Very crucial to making the Tyrogue run actually possible when I did that. That was really weird, but yeah. We managed to take down the Machamp pretty comfortably. We did lose Misdreavus in the process, but Hypnosis Dream Eater is just such a killer combo. Now we move on to the biggest problem of the Elite Four, and that of course is going to be the Dark type trainer Karen. Ghost type Pokemon are weak to Dark, so yeah, this is going to be interesting. Karen of course is going to start off with her Umbreon, and we need to make sure it is put to sleep pretty quickly. This time though I didn't do that. I went for Misdreavus first, and we're going to try and use Thunder to take down the Umbreon with it being our best attack. Can't use Psybeam because that has got... it just doesn't hit Dark types, and we can finally take it down, but we're on 11 HP going into the Murkrow. Thankfully a Thunder will one-shot it, and that brings in Houndoom. Now Houndoom has got a lot of Dark type moves to work with, so unless we get it to sleep, we are taking massive damage and getting one-shot by Houndoom pretty much straight away. So yeah, I do think that using War Shadow first is a better scenario. We're confusing the Umbreon. It's going to try and use its Confuse Ray and its Sand Attack as well. Pretty much goes the same deal as the first time around. We managed to get... oh, we get taken down by Murkrow this time. It's all on Haunter. Brings us into Houndoom, and this time we actually managed to get Hypnosis on the first turn. Pretty much one crunch will one-shot us. Yeah, even though Dark in this generation I'm thinking is a special type move, like special type move only, Crunch will still one-shot us at this range. Once we've got through the Houndoom though, by keeping it asleep, we can Dream Eater the Vileplume, which is fine because it's Poison type as well, it's weak to Psychic type moves. And then it's Haunter versus Gengar. We get the Hypnosis off first, we Dream Eater, we win. That took a lot of tries. I've only shown you 2 attempts there, but trust me, that took about 10 tries to get the RNG right. What's going to take even more time though, probably going to be Lance. So, the way we get through this, pretty much, we need to make sure that we can actually beat his Gyarados with a Thunder on the very first turn. Because if we take far too much damage from the Dragonite and that Gyarados, of course, we risk getting paralysed, we risk getting hit by Outrage and Blizzard. We can actually take down it quite comfortably though, and we are relying fully on our Confuse Rays to try and get us through this. But we do get taken down by one of the Dragonites, and that just leaves Johns on its own. And yeah, he is doing pretty good, but Rock Slide does massive damage onto us, and we whiff it on the next Thunder. So let's try this again. We can do this with these 2 Pokemon. So, yeah, Gyarados, we need to hit it first time with Thunder. If we don't hit it first time with Thunder, might as well reset pretty much. That is what I determined from this. You have to reset pretty much first time. On the next Pokemon, the Dragonite, we need to make sure Confuse Ray hits its and the Dragonite hits itself Confusion. This fight really comes down to a lot of RNG, and unless you are getting those Confusion hits, you won't get past these Dragonites with just War Shadow. So, thankfully, even though we missed a Thunder there, Shadow Ball can come in and actually deal some good damage. We managed to get through with a critical hit into the Aerodactyl, and again we need to hit Thunder first time here. If we don't hit it first time, wow, good thing we got Paralysis, we can take down with a Shadow Ball, but we're on 77 HP going to the Charizard. We Confuse Ray it, hits itself Confusion, that's pretty good because that means Thunder will now, just nearly one shot. Hits itself Confusion though to take it down. We're getting very lucky on this attempt with Confuse Ray. And that brings in the final Dragonite here. He does hit us with an Outrage and puts us on 13 HP, but after that, Shadow Ball, oh wow, that brings us into Johns. It's on very little HP here, we just need one hit to make this doable, and I gave myself a bit of respite by using Hypnosis. That means we can then get a Curse off, put it back to sleep with Hypnosis, and even though he's used all of his full restores now, as long as we can keep it asleep, Curse damage will just take him down. And there we go, that is Champion Lance beaten. And with that, we beat Lance finally. That took so long to do, but we did it. 2 Ghost Pokemon at the level cap. We managed to beat Lance and the entire Johto League. So, heading into the Hall of Fame, we put these guys in memory forever. And of course, Bellsprout and Sudowoodo and Staryu were there. Even Noctowl. We did this at 6 hours 52 minutes. When you've got less Pokemon to work with, you can actually get through the game a lot quicker on these monotype runs. So that now brings us to Kanto. Now Kanto's got its own problems, but the gym leaders, they're not really a problem. There's only blue to really worry about before we head on to red. So once we've picked up quite a few other moves, we'll head into Viridian City and we'll see how we do against blue. So blue, of course, he's going to start off with his Pidgeot. We've still got Thunder on our moveset. We made sure to get it asleep first, and then Thunder it into the ground. That then brings out the Rhydon. Now, as long as we can make sure we can Dream Eater it or use Curse on it after getting it asleep, it's not a problem whatsoever. The big problem is going to be that Alakazam who can one-shot Johns. So yeah, War Shadow level 56, yeah, we pretty much only use Mischievous in Kanto. It just swept everything. We can then take out most of his Pokemon pretty comfortably. The big problem now is going to be the Arcanine. We get it confused, which means that we can deal out good damage with Psychic now. And it manages to hit itself quite a lot of times in Confusion. We managed to get back down to low HP, and we're on 1 HP taking down the Arcanine, so now it's just Executor. Can we one-shot it? It goes for Solar Beam, meaning we can get 2 Shadow Balls in. That's very lucky. Now the level cap goes up to level 81, there's just 1 challenge left for these 2 Ghost Pokemon. And that of course is going to be on Mount Silver going against Red. This is going to be kind of difficult. Let's see how we do. So first up is going to be Pikachu, the signature Pokemon here. And we get to sleep straight away. Perfect scenario. But because he's going to try and burn his full restores to make sure that Pikachu is not asleep, we just keep spamming Hypnosis till all of them are gone. I kind of whiffed it a bit there, but we managed to get Pikachu back to sleep. You need a lot of RNG to make this fight work. So yeah, once we can Dream Eater it down, Pikachu goes down to 1 Dream Eater. That then brings in Snorlax, and this is kind of a problem. We straight away go for Curse, and then I also remember Snorlax has only got normal type moves. This is going to be easy for us to take down. The big problem though is the fact that Snorlax likes to use the move Rest, and it also likes yeah, it's even with a Ghost type moveset, it likes to use Amnesia, meaning that Thunder did barely any damage. The major thing about this fight is outspeeding all of his team, which thankfully Haunter can do very, very well. We managed to get to the Venusaur, get to sleep straight away, and Dream Eater gets it back up to full HP straight away. That then brings in Charizard, and this is a problem. Can we use Thunder and one-shot it? We can't. But we can actually tank a Flamethrower, which I was not expecting. Final Pokemon come out is, of course, the Blastoise, which he's kept in the back because he knows that we have Thunder on our moveset. We then use a couple of Dream Eaters, and Haunter on its own just swept Red at level 71, 10 levels below the level cap for this trainer. We didn't even need Mischievous. And now we have it. Ghost-type Monotype team has completed the Johto game. Let's have a look at our Pokemon, and let's give some big thanks out to our subscribers who have been Pokemon Johns, our Haunter, Warshadow, our Mischievous, and of course Bitter Zombie, our rival for today. Thank you for all subscribing, and if you've enjoyed this video, smash a like, smash a subscribe. I even have channel memberships open now. Feel free to do it, you legends, and we will see you in the next video tomorrow. Take care.